Mustafa through the body cam. Judge Weimer at Prince William County under the microscope. Hello, hello, hello. Casey. Hello, hello, hello. Casey, I'm gonna see if I can call you from this cell phone so that when Mustafa call, actually, we can have Mustafa on the iPad, and you guys can be here. Hello, hello, hello. Farah, hello. Uh, Stefana, hello, hello, hello. We are live. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the body cams. Judge Weimer, Prince William County, under the microscope. Now, this is a unique title for a podcast. In light of all the evidence that we have, Shirley, I am so happy that you're here, man. It's an interesting title. It's an interesting title because, in light of the evidence that we have and the discovery and the body cams that are coming out, we can see what Judge Weimer have been ruling on the record for the past 2 years. Now, we're in circuit court. You have general district court. You have circuit court. Circuit court is a court of records. Everything that the judge says is on the record. Everything that Mustafa says is on the record. Everything that the prosecutor Sarah Sami, says is on the record. Now, in light of the body cams that we have, we can see if Judge Weimer is an impartial judge or a judge that's protecting a prosecutor that's lying about Mustafa, a prosecutor that's protecting a police department that we have the body cams that show that they've lied about Mustafa. Now, I have this microphone. I've got the wires. I've got the connectors for it where I'm going to plug this in so we can amplify my voice. Now, I don't know why they're terrified of Mustafa Al-Jazari's voice, and the county is attempting in a desperate effort to come after the brother of Mustafa Al-Jazari, because apparently they're terrified of what the brother is saying, what the brother has. And they're using, in a desperate attempt, a lawyer out of Warren County to silence the brother. Now, unfortunately for Elaine Jarvis, that lawyer out of Warren County, we have a judge that wants to hear what exhibits does that brother have and what is he talking about when he says in a motion that I wrote and submitted to the court that Elaine Jarvis is lying. Now, on that note, we're going to take a break and we're gonna have technical support. My brother Muhammad in the background, because like I said, what you're listening to is just a barefooted monkey that's fighting for his brother. I've got my giant microphone in the back. We've come a long way. You see that giant megaphone? I remember the good old days 2 years ago when I used to take that megaphone and be barefooted in front of the courthouse. And what I thought I was doing is simply exercising my First Amendment, under the impression that we are in America, that we have a First Amendment, before I got arrested by a sheriff that's protecting the police department, that's protecting a prosecutor who's lying about my brother. We all saw that video where in the middle of my protest, in the middle of my peaceful protest, they put me in handcuffs in a desperate attempt to silence their brother. So I think I've earned the title of being a barefooted monkey. Literally, I was barefooted. On that note, we're going to work on this microphone and see if we can plug that in. Bustos, hello, hello, hello. I'm so happy that you're here, man. You've got Shirley, Farah, Casey, Stefana, and we are live on YouTube. And this is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the body cams. Judge Weimer under the microscope. On that note, let me work on this microphone. Probably going to take like 5 minutes. And we are going to continue our disturbing conversations. Apparently, this conversation is terrifying for the police department and the prosecutor. All right. So this is the microphone. This is the connector that I got.
Casey, how you feeling?
Okay.
No better.
Apparently, we can just plug this in here. And voila. That's it. Now this thing has 4 dials. Can you guys hear me on YouTube? Is it loud?
Yeah.
Is it loud on YouTube?
Okay, hold on.
Okay. Um, no, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Is it loud on YouTube? No.
Yeah.
I've got 4 dials on here. Okay, I'm gonna switch it up all the way to the right. All right. Is this better? 1 2 1 2 1 2. Or is this better? Dial 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3. This barefooted monkey can count. All right. This is dial 3. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. Which one is better? Huh? This barefooted monkey can count. Is it the same? They're all the same? It's working? Okay, wait. I'm going to put it all the way down. I want to see if it cuts down my voice. All right. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 through 1 2 3. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I mean,
1 2 3.
1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Can you hear me? Put on 4? What do you mean? Okay, that's it. Okay, on 4? Oh, here? It's better here? You can hear me better like this? 1 2 1. Yeah? 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? Is it okay? Do I have to go next to the mic? Is it okay if I step away from the mic? Is it picking up my voice? Is it amplifying my voice? Which one is better? Huh? Next to the mic like this is better? Let me ask you a question. What if I put it right here? I just want to see if it picks up my voice. 1 2 1 2 3. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the body cams. Does it pick up the voice at all or no?
I can hear you, but it's slow.
So it's not.
Slow, like it's far away. Yeah.
What about now? Is it better? Does it pick up the voice better? Can you hear me? This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa,
Better right there.
a lot better.
It's better.
Is better. Okay, all right. So we're gonna keep it here. We're gonna keep it here, so that way everybody can hear us. There we go. All right. This is beautiful. All right. This is beautiful. Man, we're definitely moving up in this food chain. We are definitely moving up. This barefooted monkey have come a long way. Yeah, I think I've earned that title. You see that giant megaphone right behind me? I was literally barefooted in front of the courthouse for 2 years. Okay? Shirley firsthand saw me. I remember when I first met Shirley right after I got arrested that day, and I was right in front of 7-Eleven, selling my brother's heat warmers, trying to raise money for his legal fund, and telling anybody that's willing to listen, what is Mustafa going through, what am I going through, and talking about what they're doing to my brother. And I ran into that beautiful lady, Shirley, and I remember her buying me a pack of cigarette, buying me a soda and lunch, and then she said, "You're not alone." And I'll tell you, this community is protected by the individuals in the community. In the police department, there's a lot of police officers that serve and protect this community and put their life on the line every single day, and they're not okay with this bullshit. And I mean, look at everything that's happening. You have sealed material by the police department, discovery, body cams, where they're all being leaked on the internet. You have individuals in the police department that are not okay with this BS. You have a police officer, one of their own, that's not okay with it. Put the material on a flash drive and give it to that brother. Now, I've been doing this for 2 years. I've been screaming in front of that courthouse. It's only natural and normal to have individual in the police department to do that? I mean, you want to tell me that this police department is engaged with this much police misconduct and you're not surprised that this is going to happen? Now, what am I talking about? Let's play the exhibit that's going to be played out in court on February 26th. Now, you have a lawyer out of Warren County. I've never heard of a story where a lawyer hires another lawyer to go after their paralegal. That's interesting. Something is happening here. Now, this is nothing more than a desperate attempt by Prince William County to silence the information that's coming out about the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. I mean, I find it interesting that they're so worried about this material and where this material came from, but they're not looking at the material itself. That's interesting. You hire a your own lawyer is suing you. That's interesting. And not only sue you, lie in court, hoping that this individual that she's suing, that Mustafa Al-Jazari brother, does not have the means to hire a lawyer. Yeah, you're right. I don't have money to hire a lawyer. But you fail to forget that you trained me as a paralegal. You trained me as a paralegal for 3 months. I know how to write my own motions. I know how to talk. I mean, I've been talking for 2 years. You know I know how to talk. I mean, I've been running around in front of the courthouse as a barefooted monkey on a giant megaphone, so you know I can talk. And then you train me as a paralegal? You fail to understand that the person that you're going after, yeah, he doesn't have money to hire a lawyer, but he is trained as a paralegal. He knows how to write his own motion. I wrote my own motion against what they're claiming in court. And Judge Funk out of Royal County is telling me that he's gonna give me all day on February 26th to hear what I have to say. Now, I have exhibits that show that Elaine Jarvis is lying to the judge and to the community. Now, what they were hoping is that when they file a motion against me, that I don't know how to write a motion, I don't have money for a lawyer, and they're just going to say whatever they want to Judge Funk and call it a day. I mean, that's literally what happened on that day. Their lawyer comes in, and he's like, Judge Funk, can we rule on it without going over the exhibits? I'm like, Judge Funk, and I have a microphone right in front. I'm like, Judge Funk, I have exhibits where Elaine lied. Judge Funk looks at that lawyer, looks at me, and then he says, I'm going to give you all day on February 26th to go over your exhibits. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, on that note, I'm going to play a video that's going to be played out in court on February 26th. I think Bustos, you had a question, ma'am? I don't think I can hear you. I don't know. I think your mic is muted. Let me see. Can you hear me? There we go. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
How many days is your court? If they give you half the day or all that day,
Half a day is they're getting, yeah.
Is it gonna be ruled that day, or is it gonna go on like the following day?
That I'm not sure. I have no idea. But you know, I know that Judge Funk, he said you have specifically what he said. You have half a day to go over your exhibits. Now, you should have seen the look on Elaine. You should have seen the look on her lawyer. They were not expecting that I'm going to have a whole entire day to go over the exhibits. They were thinking that the judge is going to be corrupt and just rule on whatever. You know, I'll tell you, we're going to get to the bottom of what's going on with the Mustafa Al-Jazari case and why are they so terrified to silence this information. Now, all we're asking is for accountability. Yes, ma'am. I think you have a question.
I think what's happening with this new judge, I don't think he wants to get tied up in the web of
Yes,
what
ma'am.
is going on.
100%. This is a different county. It's out of you're talking about Warren County and every resident that lives in Warren County. I'm getting so many messages from Warren County that are telling me we're not okay. We've been following your brother's case, and we're not okay with what is happening. And Elaine Jarvis ruined her name, and she will never get a client again. I mean, I've got messages that are out of Warren County. What they're doing is they're digging a hole for themselves. This case is only getting bigger and it's getting more publicity, and their desperate effort to conceal the information and not have it on the news. They're only digging a bigger hole. I mean, the question is now, why are you going after the brother? What does the brother have that you're terrified that you want to silence? I mean, if I didn't have anything, you wouldn't. A lawyer would not hire another lawyer only to go after a paralegal. Something is happening here. Now, on that note, I want to play the video that's going to be played out in court on February 26th. And the background to that video, Elaine Jarvis, in her motion to Judge Funk, writes that on the day that she fired me, between the afternoon hours and between the evening hours of 3 and 7, that I went into her office and I took the material, the protected material, body cams, discovery, on that day. And she came the next day, and when she found out that I took the material, she fired me as a paralegal. Well, that's interesting, because I have evidence that Elaine Jarvis is aware that I have protected material, and aware that I have the protected material, the body cam and the discovery on Mustafa's criminal case, from a different source, specifically a police officer out of Prince William County that put the material on a flash drive and supplied me with it. Now, that's very interesting to say. Now, it's one thing to say that. It's another thing when you have video evidence of that conversation. Now, question is Elaine Jarvis lying? I can prove that she's lying. I have video evidence. Now, for Judge Funk to read the motion in front of him and read that I'm claiming that Elaine Jarvis is aware that I have the protected material from another source, and specifically a police officer that supplied me with it, when in court she's claiming otherwise, is very disturbing. It's very disturbing to the court. It's very disturbing as a lawyer. It's an ethical violation on her part to lie to the court. Let's watch this video and see what I'm talking about. You guys can watch. If I play it on YouTube, can you guys see it? Yeah?
If we're watching YouTube.
Okay, all right. Because I have the other device, and I'm gonna put it toward the YouTube live. Okay, all right, let's see. I'll tell you. All right, there we go. There we go. It's been 18 months, and I have evidence where they falsified my brother's police report, muted and edited my brother's dash camera before impact. They muted that dash camera.
And just to interrupt, but just to be clear, since we are under a criminal protective order as well,
I want to pause this video. I want to say hello to a very interesting individual that's watching the case. Mr. Talar, how are you, sir? Assalamu alaikum, Ustad. Allah يسلمك. احنا كلش محظوظين انه انت هنا وتتابع القضية مات مصطفى. الله يسلمك استاذ على راسنا انت. God bless you, sir. Thank you for being here. And I am so happy that Mr. Talar is here and he's watching the body cam, is watching the discovery, and is watching the details of this case. On that note, we're going to continue to play the video of Elaine Jarvis having a conversation with Elaine Jarvis about the source of the protected material.
Lamar, you found all this out on your own, did you not?
Ma'am, I have, ma'am, it's been 18 months, and to tell me that this information.
Would you do me a favor? Would
Yes,
you
ma'am.
answer my question up and yes or no?
Yes,
Did you
I have.
obtain this information yourself?
Of course I did. It's been 18
Did
months.
you obtain this
We have a
material
lot of,
yourself?
we have a lot of police officers inside the police department that are not okay with what's happening to my brother.
Okay.
When I got back from overseas, I started a company for Quantico Marine Base, and I've hired Marines, there are military police Marines.
So you've gotten
And I have a
information.
lot of friends who are police officers.
Gotcha.
And to make this go on for 18 months, and to think that I'm not going to obtain this information from inside the police department by a police officer is ridiculous. There's a lot of police officers that serve and protect this community every day. They wear a badge, they wear a uniform, they protect this community.
And God bless each one of them.
And what's happening to my brother, they're not okay with it.
No.
They see what's happening to my brother. They know that an investigator falsified the police report. They know that investigator Robert Drum cut and staged the vehicle. They know that he cut and muted the dash camera. Now, you don't think I'm going to be supplied with this drive? I have every piece of evidence that Prosecutor Sarah Sammy has. I haven't released it. I'm just waiting to see how this whole thing plays out. I want to see if they're going to fix it. I want to see if they're going to, if I believe that when the right individuals watch what this investigator is doing to my brother, they're going to hold him accountable. I'm asking for accountability. I'm asking that this investigator is held accountable. I'm asking that Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, who's a young, hungry prosecutor, is held accountable by law. She's privy to all this information. Now, she put this under seal. I'm not under seal. I didn't sign a protective order, but a police officer gave me this information. Now, I'll tell you, she has all this information, but she's looking the other way. I'm asking for accountability. That a prosecutor sees that this is a vehicle accident and looks the other way, and instead of bringing justice to my brother, she protects an investigator that lied on a police report. And the only reason he lied, I'll tell you why he lied. My brother sued the police department back in 2018. It was an ongoing lawsuit all the way to the day of the accident. And my brother sued them, and he got police officers fired. It was a giant lawsuit. And it was an ongoing lawsuit all the way to the day of the accident. My brother has been profiled.
Even at least 10 days after the accident.
My brother has been profiled. My brother has been harassed by the police for suing the police. Now that he got in a vehicle accident, they have a grudge. They took advantage of my brother while he was in a coma. Investigator Robert Drum and Investigator Mason, they muted the dash camera, cut the dash camera, crushed and staged the vehicle, and falsified my brother's statements on the police report. And I have the evidence to show this community what they've done to my brother. Now, I'm waiting. I'm going to be really honest with you. I haven't released it. I'm waiting for this police department to look into what's happening to my brother and hold Investigator Robert Drum, Investigator Mason, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, Sheriff Glenn Hill, hold these people accountable. Or I could release it and show the community what they've done to my brother and let the community decide. Did Investigator Robert Drum falsify my brother's police report? Did he crush and stage the vehicle? Did he mute and cut the dash cam before impact? Because I have the conversation of Robert Drum contacting Rexon dash camera, the dash camera that my brother has. He contacts the company and they tell him that this is a very sophisticated dash camera. When a vehicle accident happened, the files are going to be saved in a specific files. You give us the SD card, we're going to recover the moments before impact. You give us the SD card, we'll recover the audio for you. I have the conversation that Robert Drum had with Rexon. Why is that not recovered? Now, they have the SD cards. At one point, I'm going to hire a company that will subpoena the SD cards and bring in the audio, bring in the videos before the dash camera got cut out. Now, Rachel Adams, Thomas McMillan, this lawyer sees what's on here. The second flash drive. This is the flash drive for the evidence that a police officer, I'm not going to say his name, a police officer from Prince William County Police Department supplied me with.
That a police officer
And I have it,
supplied
and
you
at
with.
one point it's
Did
like-
you obtain Elaine Jarvis?
is a prepaid call from
an inmate at the Prince William Manassas Jail. To accept this call, press 0. Your current balance is $19.83. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hello, hello, hello. Mustafa, hello, hello, hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Evidence.com, how can I help you? Hey, look, apparently, the police department is not doing their job, so it's only natural that you have a tumor that's growing within the police department, who apparently is not getting paid. I mean, where am I going to get paid? Prince William County is not paying me for my work. Elaine Jarvis, who says she's going to pay me under the table, on a recorded line, I'm not getting paid from Elaine. What is going on here? Okay? I mean, who? Mustafa, who am I working for?
I don't know.
I love you, man. I love you. Everybody's here. You're live on YouTube. You have Bustos, Shirley, Stefana, Casey, Farah. Everybody is here. You are live, and this is not another boring podcast. Mustafa Al-Jazari through the police body cams. Judge Weimer out of Prince William County under the microscope. Now, that's a heavy title.
Yeah.
I love you, man. Everybody wants to say hello to you.
Hello there.
Hi, Mustafa.
Hi.
You hear everybody?
Hello, Musti.
You hear everybody? I'm gonna bring everybody a little bit closer.
Hey, Casey. Yeah, I'm listening, but it's kind of like not really clear, but I can hear just a little.
Okay, I just brought it a little bit closer. Mustafa, can you hear everybody?
Oh, okay.
Hi, Mustafa.
Yeah, I can hear. I can hear it now.
Hi, Mustafa.
Hi.
Hi, Mustafa.
How are you?
Mustafa, hello.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I missed you. Okay.
Yeah, man, me too. I'm just sitting here waiting. So, what's going on?
All right. What is going on is that we're going over the material. We're going over the body cams, and we were talking about why is the county going after Mustafa Al-Jazari brother? Why Warren County is watching Prince William County hire a lawyer hiring another lawyer to go after a paralegal?
Now, could she not represent herself?
Wh-
Why do you think as to she's had to get somebody else?
I think she's terrified from this barefooted monkey, to be honest with you. Because she could absolutely represent herself. I mean, I'm representing myself.
She is so gun-ho into the Mustafa case
I mean,
to let it go.
that's a very good question. Why not represent yourself? I mean,
She's screwed up.
you screwed up so much. You know what's really interesting about this whole entire case is these exhibits are on their record. Now, if you know anything about lawyers and the community of lawyers, it's a very small community, and everybody's watching. Now, what I find interesting, and the reason that she's very terrified, very upset that Judge Funk is gonna give me a whole entire day to go after the exhibit, because the community, not only the community, but the lawyers community is watching Elaine Jarvis engage in behavior that are unethical. She's using and doing the bidding of Prince William County. Now, I have exhibits that are so disturbing that the community is gonna be shocked. I mean, if I play a recording where Elaine Jarvis is talking about fucking her own brother, now, what the fuck is Omar talking about? That's interesting. That's very interesting. Now, it's one thing to say it, it's another thing when the community actually hears Elaine Jarvis talking about fucking her own brother. I mean, that's disturbing. I mean, I'm very disturbed. And it's very difficult to get me to be disturbed living this nightmare for the past 2 years. Now, all this is going to be on the records. It's one of the exhibits that Judge Funk is going to hear. And it's going to be relevant to who Elaine Jarvis and what Elaine Jarvis is doing 1 minute she's talking about fucking her own brother. 1 minute she's talking about paying me under the table. 1 minute telling me that I'm gonna pretend I fired you. 1 minute she's going after me and suing me.
What the hell?
And when she knows that this material is obtained from another source. I mean, how does her daughter and husband and family like to hear that Elaine Jarvis is fucking her brother? Now, let's really talk about what's going on. Let's talk about what this paralegal had to go through being a paralegal for Elaine Jarvis Law. I mean, God damn it. All I wanted to do is be a paralegal. Look at what I've been through. And to take it as far as engage in defaming your own paralegal. I mean, I'm trying to get a job and continue my career in being a paralegal and go on to becoming a lawyer. I'm studying for the LSAT. I'm scheduled to take the LSAT. I want to be continue a career in being a lawyer. In the meantime, I'm applying to the governor office to be a paralegal. And what kind of pushback do I get, sir? Your previous employer is suing you for taking material from her. That's defamation. It's defamation when I have evidence that this lawyer is lying. You don't think I'm gonna sue for defamation? You don't think I'm gonna report this lawyer to the Bar Association for engaging in unethical behavior? I'm gonna make sure that by the time I'm done with this lawyer, she's not gonna have a bar license to practice. I mean, what she's done to Mustafa, what she's done to this family, I'm gonna make sure that she doesn't do it to another family. Now, what's disturbing about the whole entire case is when I got hired by Elaine, Elaine put me to work. And what am I talking about putting me to work? Elaine had me compile a list of all the individuals that witnessed Mustafa get abused in Prince William County Adult Detention Center. Now, for the past 2 years, I have a whole entire operation against Prince William County Adult Detention Center. I'm talking to inmates. I'm talking to other inmates that got abused inside the county jail. I have a list of inmates that witnessed my brother get abused inside the jail. I'm connected with their families. Now, Elaine put me in her office and had me compile a list. And she reached out to each one of those families and became their lawyer, started to represent these individuals. Now, I've intercepted a phone call with one of the witnesses, Rodney Ward, where she's telling him, I don't want you to testify for Mustafa. And she's threatening this inmate that if you testify for Mustafa, they're gonna murder you inside this jail. Now, that's interesting. First, you have me compile a list that you represent Mustafa with Judge Hilton in federal court. You take Mustafa's witnesses, you promise them the moon by telling them that you're going to represent him in their grievance against the jail. And then you take these individuals, and now you're threatening these individuals not to testify for Mustafa. That's very disturbing. I have a recording where Elaine Jarvis threatened a witness not to testify for Mustafa. Now, how does Judge Funk like to hear that audio? How does the Bar Association like to hear that audio? Now, let's talk about it a little bit further. Elaine Jarvis ended up dropping Mustafa's case. Now, and then dropped 5 other cases, 5 other individuals that she told that she was going to represent. Muhammad Ikram Shardel, Rodney Ward, Travis Isaac, Emmanuel David, Tatiana's brother, and other individuals. Now that's interesting. When you have me compile a list for you, and then all of a sudden, 1 minute. At one point, Elaine Jarvis was complaining about not being able to pay her electricity bill. Now, all of a sudden, she drops Mustafa Al-Jazari's case. I intercept a phone call where on a recorded line she's threatening a witness, and then she drops Mustafa Al Jazari's case. She drops all the clients that I compiled for her, and all of a sudden, 1 minute she's complaining about her electricity bill. Now Elaine Jarvis has two office locations. She opened another office after dropping Mustafa's case. Now I'll tell you what's happening here. She made contact with the lawyers that's representing the jail against Mustafa. These are the same lawyers that were representing the police against Mustafa. Mustafa had over $500,000 lawsuit. The same lawyers that were representing the police during Mustafa's lawsuit before the vehicle accident is now representing the jail against Mustafa. Now, the minute she makes contact with them, all of a sudden, she has two locations. She's dropping Mustafa's case. She's dropping everybody's case. She's threatening one of the witnesses. I have recordings. See, when I talk about these issues, you can't dismiss my conversation because I have proof. I have recordings, I have videos, I have documents. In court, we're going to talk about what Elaine Jarvis is doing. We're going to file with the Bar Association. And we're not going to allow this lawyer to do the bidding of Prince William County. Mustafa, let's put all of it to the side for 2 seconds. How the fuck are you doing, brother? I've missed you. How was your day?
I'm just waiting here patiently. So, just going day by day. You know, just waiting patiently, praying, and just maintaining. You know.
What did you eat? What did you eat? Are you doing okay? How was your day?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm just going. It's like the same thing every day. Just another day.
I hear a lot of correctional officers are coming up to you and they're telling you, we're watching you, brother, on the podcast. What's going on with that? Apparently, I have a lot of friends.
Yeah, everybody's tuned in. Obviously, they see everything. I mean, this is not like, you know, this is not a secret. Everybody's like watching everything, and they know the truth. And a lot of people are telling me like they're rooting for me. So, you know, it's just another day.
You know, I want to talk about when I got arrested, talking about your case in front of the jail, when I was peacefully exercising my First Amendment. On video, I was peacefully exercising my First Amendment. I remember when I got arrested by Sheriff Glenn Hill, I remember them putting me in handcuffs and taking me to a jail cell. Now, one unique experience I had when I was in Prince William County Jail, I had one correctional officer that came up to the window and he's like, and then he sticks his face in, you know, like the jail cell had like clear glass window. This correctional officer sticks his face in there, and I was just like, I was looking at this guy. I was like, what's wrong with this guy? This guy is jumping around. Like, what's wrong with this guy? He sticks his face in the window, and then he gives me a thumbs up. And I'm just like, man, am I this popular in this jail? Oh, man. Mustafa, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That correctional officer knows exactly what I'm talking about. Apparently, I have a lot of friends, a lot of fans, and a lot of people that are not okay with bullshit. That correctional officer goes up to my brother and tells him, I'm watching all your body cams. I'm watching your discovery. And is disturbed by what this police department have done to Mustafa. Now, on that note, there's a lot of good correctional officers that are doing their job, that are not okay with bullshit. And they're taking care of the inmates. You know, I'll tell you what the police department have done is they put my brother in a situation where they put a label on him where these correctional officers are listening to what this police department have put on my brother, And now, 2 years into it, they're like, what the fuck have we done? They're looking at the same person that they've abused for the past 2 years and are watching his body cams, are watching his discovery, and are upset because they went off after information that the police department supplied them with that this is a monster. Now they're watching the body cam, the discovery that who they have in their jail, who they abused, is a person that the police department lied about. And the longer this goes on, everybody is watching the same thing. Mustafa, I love you, man. Tell my friends I said hello in there. Apparently, I have a lot of friends, specifically that individual. You know, it's interesting. It's one thing when you talk about a situation. It's another thing when you experience it yourself. So tell my friends I said hello. Tune in and make sure you fucking subscribe. You know, don't just sit there. Leave a comment, subscribe, and donate to the fucking legal fund. That money goes to you getting a lawyer. Judge Weimer put in a lawyer for you. Now, Judge Weimer and everything that Judge Weimer stands for, we don't, you know, on the record so far, he's been protecting a police department, a prosecutor that lied. And now he's giving you a lawyer. Well, you have another lawyer, but that lawyer needs money, and we're asking the community to donate into your legal fund. The legal fund is a Cash App on our social media. That money goes to your lawyer, goes to your phone calls, goes to your commissary, and we're here. I mean, we've come a long way. Mustafa? Are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I love you, man. I love you, man. Does anybody have a question for Mustafa?
We're thinking.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, to be honest with you, we're in shock mode watching everything that we're watching.
Yes. Unbelievable.
I might not have a question, but I just want to say we're all praying for you.
Oh, I really appreciate it. I just want to say, like, I'm sitting in jail because people have been lying on my name. Certain people, certain individuals have said things about me that are 100% not true. I don't know them. They happen to know a lot about me. They're just passing misinformation, and I'm sitting in jail on that. So I don't know what to say. Just sitting here, just waiting patiently.
Mustafa, you know.
I have a statement to make.
Yes, man.
If
Surely.
they don't have any facts,
Yes, ma'am.
they're gonna attack your character.
FBI didn't
Absolutely.
contact you?
Absolutely. When they don't have the facts and they can't have the conversation about the facts anymore, they're gonna attack your character. I mean, what is happening right now? They want to turn the narrative, twist the narrative, and pretend to ignore the giant elephant in the room. Now, are we all watching the same thing? Are we not watching the police department lie to the kids, traumatize the kids by lying to them, and then putting them in a forensic interview and record them? Now, isn't that what the police department did? The police department lied to the kids about Mustafa. They said that Mustafa ran away from the scene, and if it wasn't for Mustafa running away, 5-year-old Empress would have still been alive today. That's what Jaden is telling the forensic interviewer. The police department. Now we know that the police department lied. Mustafa was in a coma. Mustafa was helicoptered to the hospital. Now the police department lied to the kids. Isn't that child abuse? Is that not child abuse to lie to the kids that just lost their mother and put them in a forensic room and then record them? And they want to turn the narrative and say, I'm releasing the forensic interview. Well, what do you want me to do? To sit here and watch them lie about Mustafa? Let's really talk about the giant elephant in the room. Who's traumatized the kids? Who lied to the kids? I mean, that's child abuse. You want to bring them in? Now, when you ask Glenn Ford,
He says, well, those kids have been traumatized. On a recorded line, that's what he said. He doesn't even care. Now, let's talk about Kylie. At the time, Kylie was Mustafa. Kylie was 14 or 16 at the time. Kylie was 14. I think she was 16.
Well, she's 18 now. So
She's 18 now. So at the time, she was
So
16.
She was 16.
Okay, so we're talking about. She says, I'm a minor. Like, if you read her comments on there, when her forensic interview is coming out, when her comments are coming, when her evidence is coming out, she said, I'm a minor. Well, ma'am, you're not a minor when you're going up to the ex-boyfriend, Glenn Ford, and are soliciting to murder Mustafa. You can't hide behind a minor when you're soliciting to murder Mustafa on a recorded line. When you're lying about Mustafa, when on a recorded line, according to Glenn Ford, you slept with him. You can't hide behind being a minor when you lie to the police in a giant case like this. So, let's talk about the giant elephant in the room. If the police department is not going to do their job, we have to do the job for them. We have to talk about the details.
So she's 18 now?
She's 18 now, yes ma'am. Yes ma'am. Now, I find it interesting that in the discovery, I have Kylie on a recorded line that said that the police department never interviewed her with the kids. Now, the police department in evidence.com, when you open the file, when you open the folder, there's a discovery where it says that Kylie Clapp was interviewed by the police with the kids. There's a forensic interview. Now, that forensic interview was deleted, removed from evidence.com, and then redone in July. Now, that's interesting because surely I remember you were there at the pavilion with us when Kylie Clapp, Dorothy's daughter, came out to the pavilion and pretended that she ran into me and is telling me that the prosecutor, that the lawyer, that the prosecutor is not telling her anything. They're not showing her anything. She has no idea. I called my mom, and we're sitting there showing her everything. We're telling her everything. We're like, they lied. The police department lied about Mustafa. And Kylie Clapp, by the way, she was telling me, can you not have anything recorded? Now I know why she didn't want anything recorded, because apparently the prosecutor sent Kylie to get as much information as she can from this family so she can, when she goes into a forensic interview again, she can get her story straight. Now, the police department deleted Kylie's forensic interview. Kylie says, no, it's not true. Well, what if I show this community a document that says Kylie Clapp was, in fact, interviewed with the other kids? And the police department simply deleted it because it's not good enough for the prosecutor. And they redid her interview in July. Now, if they think for 2 seconds that the forensic interview is not going to be played out in court, they're senile. They're fantasizing. Now, I'll tell you, this is the star witness. Kylie Clapp is the star witness for the prosecutor. Kylie Clapp says, Mustafa is a monster. Mustafa is abusive. Well, that's interesting, Kylie, because we have you on a recorded line admitting that you know the club owner that had a problem with Mustafa was the club owner's employees, the strippers. You know them, you hang out with them, and you're repeating the same sentiments that they're repeating after the club owner went viral for being racist. Now, a month after that incident, Mustafa met Dorothy. Now, Mustafa didn't know that Kylie's dad works for this club owner. Kylie knows the strippers, knows the club owner. So you're telling me that Mustafa is in the background? You have a Kylie that's hanging out with the individual that Mustafa almost ran out of business? Let's talk about what it means to be a owner of a strip club. You're messing around with the mob. I mean, you don't get an owner of a strip club angry at you and nothing's gonna happen. Now, Kylie is hanging out with that in that environment, her dad pierces all the strippers. Do you know what it means for her dad? Do you know what kind of relationship her dad has with Billy, the club owner, that he pierces all the strippers? Do you know how long of a relationship you have to build with a owner of a strip club to be able to pierce all the strippers? You know how long of a relationship, you know how deep that relationship is? Her dad pierces all his employees. Now, Kylie's hanging out with those strippers. Those strippers were very nice to Mustafa. They used to promote his heat warmers. And the minute that Billy goes against Mustafa and is upset at Mustafa and wants to kick him out of the parking lot that doesn't belong to him, all of a sudden his strippers are now trying to satisfy the person that they work for. And they start antagonizing Mustafa. And all of a sudden they don't like Mustafa anymore. That's interesting. Kylie, you're hanging out with those strippers? No wonder you hate Mustafa. Oh, wait a minute. Mustafa, your mom chose Mustafa over you. Who are you? A 14-year-old that the mom chose her boyfriend over you and said, I don't want to have anything to do with you. She didn't agree with your lifestyle. That's according to Glenn Ford. That's according to you. On a forensic interview, you say that mom picked Mustafa over me. Now, Kylie, you're living a lifestyle that your mom did not agree with. You're living a lifestyle that your mom didn't want anything to do with you. Your mom wanted to move on with her. Actually, Mustafa, what am I doing? How you tell us? What the fuck are we watching? What are we looking at?
For the video?
I mean, what do you think about like everything that we're talking about? I mean, we're watching a video of Billy, a giant white person, antagonize and attack a Mustafa, being racist to a Mustafa. And then apparently Kylie in the background, who says she's never been to the apartment, who says she doesn't know you, who says is very opinionated about you, and is soliciting to murder you.
That's really weird. I mean, the whole thing is just odd. But if you connect the dots, that club owner, Billy, is definitely really mad. And I wasn't even on his property. I was just promoting my products, and everybody loved my products. They were buying my products. So.
Now, Mustafa, I remember right after that incident. After that incident, you how long before that, between that incident and you meeting Dorothy?
I mean, to be honest with you, right now I don't know like exactly. But
Well, I'll tell you. I hung out with you all the time. This happened, I think, in December. I think in January, late January. There's a date on there. And then you got in a relationship with Dorothy in January. I think January, February, something like that. So a month and a half into this incident, you met Dorothy.
yeah, give or take, like here and there. Like it was just a few days afterwards. I met Dorothy on a dating site, and from there I got to know her. And Kylie was never in the picture. It was just me, Dorothy, her 3 boys, Empress, and the dog Luna, Pomsky.
Well, Mustafa, let's watch this video. Let's watch this video, and then there are interesting conversations, audio recordings that I want everybody to listen to, and I want you to weigh on what we're watching. So this is a video of. Casey, say that one more time.
I said, no wonder why Kylie was doing drugs and all that stuff she was doing. Look at the people she's hanging around with.
I mean, exactly. Look at the people that she's hanging out with. Glenn Ford says Kylie shows up. Glenn Ford, the ex-boyfriend, when Kylie was living at his apartment, when he was, this is before Mustafa, when Glenn Ford, the ex-boyfriend, when Dorothy was living with the kids.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Mustafa, do me a favor, go ahead and hang up and call, and then I'm going to continue talking about this. I'm just setting, I'm just answering this question, but yeah, go ahead and call back. Glenn Ford says before Mustafa, when he met, when Dorothy was living in his apartment, he said Kylie would show up at his apartment, high, doesn't know where she's at, and he would wake up in bed with Kylie in his bed, sleep in his bed. I mean, what the fuck are we talking about? You know how disturbing that, you know how disgusting that is? And I find it really interesting that they're angry
Hello,
at
this
me
is a prepaid
when Glenn
call
Ford is
from-
saying it. I mean,
An
are
inmate at the
we?
Prince William Manassas jail. To accept this call, press 0.
You know what I
Your
found really
current
disturbing
balance is
is-
$16.36.
I find
This
it
call
really
is from a
disturbing.
correction facility and is
that-
subject to monitoring and recording.
I find it really
Thank you for
disturbing
using Global Telling.
that for 4 hours, Kylie is on the live, Glenn Ford is on the live, Amy Hodgkins is on the live, Stephanie Claiborne as AKA Kate is on the live, and other individuals are on the live, and they're not addressing the giant elephant in the room, and they're all mad at me, and they're not addressing that it's Glenn Ford on a recorded line that talks about fucking Dorothy's daughter, the 16-year-old at the time, talking shit about Dorothy, and talking about that Kylie solicited to murder Mustafa. A recorded conversation. I mean, if that's not disturbing, what are we watching here?
And Glenn Ford too. I was watching a video with Cha-Cha, him and Cha-Cha, and how he can stand those kids because they're messing his carpet, and how he can stand Dorothy.
I mean, if that's not disturbing, I don't know what disturbing is. You're sitting there bad-mouthing Dorothy, talking shit about Dorothy, talking shit about the kids. You clearly hate Dorothy and the kids, okay? And then you have that 16-year-old daughter at the time. Now she's 18 on the live. The person hates your mother. Did you not listen to anything that he said? Anything? Forget me. Forget the whole thing. He is saying it. He is saying it on a recorded line. It's not like I'm telling you what he said. The recording is literally there. Now, on that note, we're going to play the video of Billy and the incident with the club owner, with Mustafa. Mustafa,
Yeah.
I'm going to play that video. It's not like you have a choice. You're in solitary confinement. I find this video very interesting for so many reasons. The prosecutor is painting a monster. That Mustafa is a monster that can't control his emotions, and that's why he drove the vehicle into oncoming traffic, because he was arguing with his girlfriend. Despite of what the dash camera shows, the dash camera showed the whole entire thing is a vehicle accident, and there was no argument. What is this prosecutor doing? Oh, let me get it. What she does is she concealed the dash camera from the community, released 4 seconds where she chops up the dash camera, mutes the dash camera, cuts the dash camera, and release it to NBC4. She's terrified that the community is watching this dash camera. Well, unfortunately for her, there's a barefooted monkey, Mustafa's brother, who's out there being supplied by the police officer in Prince William County with the sealed material. I have the dash camera, and the community is watching. I have the body cams, the discovery, and the community is watching. I've earned that title, man. I got arrested, okay, by the sheriff himself, literally walking around barefoot with that giant megaphone right behind me. Everybody can see it? That's a giant megaphone right there.
I remember that. We all do.
I'll tell you, this video is very interesting because the prosecutor is painting a monster, a Mustafa as a monster. Well, when I watched this video, I watched that when Billy, the giant racist white guy, is angry and screaming at Mustafa, what is Mustafa doing? I mean, this is a very scary situation. I mean, does anybody know? This is a very terrifying situation. Mustafa, what is Mustafa doing? He's calm. He's de-escalating. He's taking steps back to de-escalate. I mean, that's not the Mustafa that the prosecutor is describing to us.
I would think there's right back.
But miracles, it's a miracle that we have this video, that we can see that this prosecutor is lying about Mustafa? Well, let's talk about the background to this video. Okay, who is Mustafa? What is a Mustafa? And does anybody know? I find it disturbing that the news outlets are simply repeating what the police department is lying about Mustafa. They're just being a mouthpiece. But they don't tell the community that Mustafa is a paralegal, worked at a law office. He's trained as a paralegal. Mustafa had a small business where he sells medical equipment, small physical therapy equipment that are FDA approved, and heat warmers. And at one point he had multiple establishments through different malls. He had multiple military bases, multiple contracts, where I ran for him before I ended up contracting in Iraq. Now, what is he doing in that video? Does anybody know how to run a business and what it takes to run a business? It takes money to run a business. Now, to avoid overheads, Mustafa is selling his medical equipment and the heat warmer out of a van in a busy place. This is a public easement. This is public property. It's a public easement shared by 3 different locations. It's not Billy's property. He doesn't have a right to kick Mustafa out. Mustafa is working hard in the heat, in the cold, and he's been there for a long time, going over 3 years, where people go to him and buy, if they need a physical therapy equipment, they go up to Mustafa. Now, Billy comes out, and this video shows how racist he is against Mustafa. This video goes viral. 7 million views. Mustafa, what are we watching on this video?
We're watching someone who's super angry, who's telling me to get off his property when I wasn't even on his property, and someone that's really mad. I don't know why. While he was yelling at me, he was literally spitting at me all over my face, and I had to wipe all that spit off my face afterwards.
Now, Mustafa, I remember a very specific incident with your vehicle. And then when you reported it to the police, they told you something very interesting. And they just didn't care. What did they do? What did they tell you when you reported what happened to your car?
I parked my car at the Walmart parking lot, and I don't know, within an hour, someone came and stole my catalytic converter. My whole muffler was cut off.
Now, when you reported that incident to the police, because there is a video of someone driving off from the vehicle, they did something to your car, they stole a catalytic converter, and there's a video of the person that's doing it to your car. Now, I have that video, and I'm gonna post that video. Now,
let me tell you what happened.
Yeah.
That video came about a bystander. Okay, so my vehicle was parked in the parking lot for Walmart. They have a lot of cameras. I mean, it's a public parking lot in daylight, broad daylight. And right next to Walmart, there's a restaurant. There was a family eating dinner, and that person, while this incident was happening, that person, while he was eating dinner, he ran after the car and took a video of the license plate and the vehicle that stole my catalytic converter. The person that stole my parts. He just cut off my muffler and brought
it's on
daylight.
YouTube.
And the
So,
police said they're not going to do anything about it.
So you took that video, okay? You took that video, and a bystander recorded the incident. You took that video and you gave it to the police department. What did the police department do?
They just passive aggressively, nonchalantly just said, okay,
Now,
just follow the report. They just walked away.
Now, I remember specifically they told you something about your brother.
Trying to remember.
Do you remember when you told me that let your mobile mechanic brother help you?
Oh yeah.
What is that for the police department to say something like that? I mean, I had giant trucks. I have a roadside assistant business, a mobile mechanic that takes care of Marines on base. For you to report someone that stole your catalytic converter, messed with your vehicle, stole your catalytic converter, in broad daylight. There's a video. And what did they tell you?
Get your brother to help you out, and then my brother had to pay like almost $2,000 out of his pocket. Actually, a little bit over $2,000.
I have that
To
video.
replace the part. Labor, you have to weld it. It's like a whole muffler system with my catalytic converter. It wouldn't pass inspection or anything. And it
That
sounds
part
like
alone
really
is
loud.
almost $1,000. That part alone is $1,000. In labor, if you were to take it to anybody else, they would have charged you another $2,000.
God.
I remember me and my brother, we sat there. I bought the part, and we sat there, and we redid the whole entire exhaust system, the catalytic converter apart for him. Oh, it was a lot of work. I have videos for it. Actually, if you go far enough on my YouTube channel, which is, it used to be Quantico Mobile Mechanic. Now it's Not Another Boring Podcast. You'll see me work on Mustafa's car, installing the whole entire exhaust catalytic converter part. And I was angry. I was upset that the police department did that shit. Not really care. Now that is why are we talking about this? What's unique about this? What's disturbing about this is that incident happened right after the Billy situation. Now, your car was tampered with that night. For the past 2 years, you've been telling the police department that the day before the accident, your vehicle is tampered with. And the police department just simply looks the other way. That's interesting. Well, interesting details are coming out where apparently in the background, Dorothy's 16-year-old daughter is hanging out around the same person that has a problem with you. And, you know, it's one thing to say that. It's one thing to say that. But it's another thing to have the evidence that show what I'm talking about cannot be dismissed. My question is, where is the police department? Where is this police department that investigates this detail? Where is the police department? Why can't we have someone out of the police department that takes at these details, take a look at these details, and say, well, we're documenting this, we're investigating this, and we're trying to get to the bottom of it.
You should
Prince
play
William
the
County.
audio of
You know-
Kylie saying that her dad, he pierces all the strippers at the strip club.
It's Mustafa, exactly. It's one thing for me to say that, but I'm gonna play an audio where Kylie herself says, "My dad works for Billy. He pierces all his employees, and she's associating with those strippers." She's repeating the same sentiments where they're saying about Mustafa. Let's play that audio.
My dad, he's a piercer. He pierces like a lot of strippers, and he had brought up to them what happened, and they were and who they were, and they were like, yeah, we know this guy. Like, he used to record our license plates and put it on the internet and like follow us home and stuff. So I also was thinking, I don't want them to follow me home, and I don't want to put myself in a position where, you know,
That's interesting. Her dad does the piercing for all the strippers that Billy employs. You know how deep of a relationship that is. Now, that's interesting because we're trying to figure out why Kylie hates Mustafa when she was never there at the apartment. Kylie hates Mustafa because apparently she's around those strippers. Her dad works for Billy. Now, it's disturbing when you find out when Kylie walks into the forensic interview, she says, "My dad is forcing me to be here. My dad is forcing me to come here and do a forensic interview." Her dad, Jason Clapp, is forcing her to go through a forensic interview. Now, that's interesting. Oh, wait a minute. You work for Billy. So you're going to get your daughter to say whatever she has to say about Mustafa and lie about Mustafa to make sure that the police department put Mustafa away. That's interesting. and these details are now coming out. Where is the police department? Why is the police department not reaching out to me? Well, I'm here. I have a giant podcast. My phone number. They have my phone number. They can reach out to me. I have evidence where their star witness lied about Mustafa. That in the background, these individuals want Mustafa to be, well, on a recorded line, Kylie is soliciting Mustafa to be murdered. She said, on a recorded line, Kylie says, can we kill, she goes up to Glenn Ford, the ex-boyfriend, and says, can we kill Mustafa and make it look like an accident? Well, what do we have today? What do we have today? We have a vehicle accident where the police department on body cam are saying the brake doesn't work and that transmission doesn't work. That's interesting. That's interesting. On a recorded line, Kylie is soliciting to murder Mustafa. Let's listen to that audio. Where is the police department from this conversation? You know, these are, by the way, these are giant claims. You know, to make this claim, that's very disturbing. To be able to back it up, it's another thing. You cannot dismiss my conversation knowing that I have recording of them saying what they're saying. Glenn Ford himself, the ex-boyfriend, says, let's listen to that audio.
Especially the older girl. And she wanted me to shoot like kill him.
The older daughter wanted you to kill him?
Yeah. Like where? Like if you please, like if I make it look like so like you know what I'm saying, like something and it's like self-defense, would you do it? And I'm like, no.
So, I have a forensic interview. So this audio, Kylie Clapp, goes up to Glenn Ford on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's okay. Let him talk. Well, I'll deal with him later. We have a troll that like to troll the conversation. Well, unfortunately for all my trolls, the community is watching the conversation. And when I make a claim, I back it up with a fact. I have evidence to back up my claim. When I say Kylie solicited Mustafa to be murdered, I have Glenn Ford on a recorded line saying that Kylie walked up to him and asked to murder Mustafa. When I say that Kylie had a relationship with Billy, the strip club owner that had a problem with Mustafa, I have Kylie Clapp saying my dad worked for Billy and I hang out with those strippers. Now, we just heard it. Okay? When I say that Mustafa's vehicle had mechanical failure, I have the body cam. We're going to play that in 2 seconds, where the police department is saying that Mustafa's vehicle has mechanical failure. They're talking about the back caliper, passenger caliper doesn't work. The front passenger caliper doesn't work. The transmission, the drive shaft disengaged from the engine. Do you know what it means? Okay, so the computer inside the vehicle, let's play that video. The computer inside the vehicle says that Mustafa hit the brake, but the RPM was shooting high, and the vehicle doesn't stop. Mustafa managed to get the vehicle. Speed limit is 55. Mustafa is driving. Speed limit. Mustafa hits the brake. The vehicle drops from 55 to 35. The vehicle doesn't come to a complete stop. The computer inside the vehicle showed that Mustafa was hitting the brake the whole entire time. But what is the RPM doing? It's shooting up really high. Now, when you hit the brake, you can't have, and the computer inside the vehicle showed that Mustafa's foot is on the brake because it would show if his foot was on the gas pedal too. The computer inside the vehicle showed that Mustafa's foot is on the brake, hitting the brake, slamming on the brake, and his foot is not on the accelerator, but the accelerator, the RPM is shooting really high. Now, the police mechanic inspected the transmission, and they found out that the drive shaft disconnected from the engine. Now, that's the only thing that would explain why the RPM would shoot really high. Because once you disengage the drive shaft from the transmission from the engine, the engine is going to keep revving forward. Now, you want to tell me that you have mechanical failure? Mustafa is telling the investigator that I hit the brake, the vehicle doesn't stop. They inspect the vehicle and they find the mechanical failure. and you have all this in the background, individual, unbeknownst to Mustafa, Kylie, with Billy, the club owner, they're conspiring against Mustafa. This is a vehicle accident. It's on dash camera. It's a vehicle accident. We have the dash camera. The prosecutor is terrified that this dash camera is coming out. We have a dash camera that showed this is a vehicle accident. We have the police mechanic, and they admit that there's mechanical failure. Now we have the star witnesses admitting to where they wanted and conspired and solicit to murder Mustafa. Let's watch the body cam. Let's watch the body cam where the police department, the police mechanic inside the police department, inspect the vehicle and find mechanical failure. What did they do? They concealed that body cam from the community because they're terrified of what they're finding. They want to frame Mustafa. They want to lie about Mustafa. This vehicle is chopped. Yes, ma'am. Let me find that video.
Hey, Charles, keep on trolling.
That's okay. You know, I'll tell you, we're getting to a point that no longer can you troll the conversation. Because
My son just bought a BMW.
you know, when we have, 2 years ago, you know how easy you can troll. Fatima, if you want to tell Muhammad to be a mod so he can mod the YouTube. When, it's really interesting when evidence are coming out, they're terrified that they have to attack your character and troll the conversation. They can't talk about the details because we're showing the body cams that the county attempted to hide and failed at concealing from the community. This is a body cam where inside the police department, the police mechanic inspects the vehicle and finds mechanical failure, brake failure. Mustafa? Mustafa? Dorothy and Empress in heaven are looking out for you. This is a miracle that we have your body cams, we have your discovery, and it's coming out to the community. And the way it's coming out, it's a miracle that we have all this. There is nothing special about me. I'm just a barefooted monkey. To have your body cams, to have the strength to do this, that's not me. That's God Himself. Huh? I mean, how can I make someone a mod? I don't even know how this works. We're all new to YouTube, to be honest with you. But if someone wants to come here and play around with it while I talk, I have a lot to talk about. I have to be able to release this interview. Okay, this is the body cam or the police mechanic. So this is the police body cam in the background. You have the police mechanic inspect the vehicle, and they have Investigator Davis, the same investigator that interviewed Glenn Ford. That's interesting. And he sees brake failure. He has the mechanic, and he's depressing the brake, but the wheel keeps spinning. The caliper does not engage. The back passenger caliper doesn't work. The front driver passenger doesn't work. Later in the body cam, there is a conversation where they're talking about in detail about the transmission, disengaging shaft. Huh? Mustafa's on here. Yeah. And of course, there's a commercial. Let's wait for that commercial. There we go. Okay. So what you've watched here, and you can always go back and watch it, is the police mechanic is inspecting the vehicle, and they find out brake failure. Now, brake failure? They're talking about brake failure? Is the police department aware that Kylie Clapp, the star witness for the prosecutor, the 16-year-old Dorothy's daughter, have solicited Glenn Ford, the ex-boyfriend, to kill Mustafa? does the police department know that Kylie Clapp is hanging out with the club owner? I mean, who is the club owner? Do you know what it takes for someone to be a club owner of a strip club? That's the mob themselves. That's the mob themselves. You're messing with the mob. I mean, in that video, when you watch it, you hear Billy tell him, Mustafa's telling him, you're going to jail. I mean, you know, you're kicking me out of public property. He's like, we'll see who goes to jail. Mustafa's vehicle, Cadillac Convertible, gets stolen. The night before, someone messes with Mustafa's vehicle. Mustafa, what the fuck are we watching, man?
A lot of misconduct going on. My door handle the night before the accident was ripped off. The whole chrome was ripped off. I was like, what is this? And like, I've never seen that before. And I don't know. Like, I called Dorothy. While I was at the 7-Eleven, I told the 7-Eleven clerk to check the camera. I said, can I look at it? He said, you can't look at it. He has to check the camera because there was a car parked next to mine. And I said, can you please see what happened to my car? Someone vandalized my car. And then he told me that it didn't happen on the parking lot. So my assumption is it happened at the apartment parking lot. Someone had to tamper with my car
I'm trying to make her
when I was paying attention. I don't know. But I noticed that. It was the night before the accident.
It's a tool. It's a wrench. Amar.
Oh.
It's a wrench that makes that's the mod symbol's a wrench.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
Wait, what time is it?
7:30.
7:30?
My time.
Oh, what time is it here?
What time is it, Shirley? 10:30. Yeah, 10:32. Your time.
10:32. Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Incredibly, these people, they make time, they just waiting for any life to be there.
There we go. Problem solved. We removed the troll. Mustafa, we are here.
Yeah.
This is not another. I was gonna say this is another boring podcast. I mean, there's, I'll tell you one thing. There's nothing boring about everything that's happening. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa Al-Jazari through the body cams. Okay. Judge Weimer under the microscope. And I know Judge Weimer really hates that his name is being brought up because apparently he has to be impartial, and we have him on the record being impartial.
Oh, the judge saw the dash camera in court,
Yeah.
and he granted me $5,000 bond, unsecured bond. All I had to pay was $500 to get out. Not even house arrest.
Now, I was in court that day, Mustafa. I was in court that day, and I found very interesting what you said is very interesting because NBC4 like to tell the community something else. They said that Judge Weimer saw the dash camera and then revoked your bond. When in fact, I have a recording, and it's on the record, I have a recording that a source supplied me with. So everybody that wants to say I didn't record anything. I have someone that supplied me with a recording of the proceeding where Judge Weimer saw the dash camera and granted you because he saw the dash camera and heard that investigator Jerome Fawcett heard the audio, he granted you the bond. But on NBC4, they say otherwise. They lie.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Mustafa, you have 1 minute. Do me a favor, go ahead and hang up and call. And when you come back, we're going to talk about your bond and what Judge Weimer on the record is doing.
Okay.
Thank you for using Global
No.
Tel Link.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna play the NBC4 clip and how Julie Carey is simply lying to the community about Mustafa. Julie Carey tells the community that Judge Weimer saw the dash camera and then revoked the bond. That's not true. I have a recording of the proceeding. It's on the record. We're in circuit court. Judge Weimer saw the dash camera and gave Mustafa the bond because of the dash camera. Because the dash camera showed this is a vehicle accident.
To refuse this call,
This is a vehicle accident, and there is no argument inside the vehicle.
88 cents. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Mustafa, whoever records these jail automated thing, that lady talks a lot. I don't know if you can hear it on your end. Can you hear me? She just keeps going. Like.
I know. I have a comic, and it's a girl on the phone, and it's the recording in the background, and I'm telling the little girl's telling her, shut the fuck up.
I swear to God, it's annoying. Mustafa, we're here and we're talking about Judge Weimer and what is Judge Weimer doing on the record. Now, Mustafa, Judge Weimer on the record sees a dash camera, and based on the dash camera, he gives you a bond. Now, Mustafa, what is Judge Weimer doing with the bond? What happened with the bond? Because I have details based on the discovery that I have that Judge Weimer lied and is protecting a prosecutor that's lying about the police department. And despite of the evidence, he's not looking at the evidence. Instead, he's just supporting a prosecutor that lied. Mustafa, can you hear me?
I only got 10 minutes and I have to go.
Now, you have 10 minutes. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and end this live. And on this note, I'm going to summarize really quick. That bond, Judge Weimer lied. The prosecutor said Mustafa threatened the correctional officer. I have the jail video and I have the audio where there's a witness from inside the jail where a witness says, another inmate says that you never threatened anybody. As a matter of fact, they're the one that beat you and violated your religious items. They stepped on your Quran. They stepped on your prayer rug. And I have evidence. That's what they did. That's what the witness say inside the jail. Judge Weimer, despite of that evidence, revokes your bond. The prosecutor doesn't have any evidence to support what she says. There's evidence that showed that you're the one that they beat. You're the one that they stepped on his Quran. You're the one that they stepped on his prayer rug. That's what the witness say inside the jail. And I have that interview and the community heard it. And it's posted on the internet. The next time we go live, we're going to talk more about that. We're going to talk about how the prosecutor says that she's getting a lip reader when Officer Zymus with Prince William County, with the forensic digital with Prince William County, Officer Zymus in the discovery says the audio of the dash camera is on the SD card. So why is this prosecutor telling the community that she needs a lip reader when the audio is right there? They've held exculpatory evidence. They've lied about you. And Judge Weimer is terrified that we're talking about these details. And what does he do? He uses a lawyer out of Warren County to go after the brother and lie about that brother to silence that brother. Mustafa, on that note, we're going to end this podcast. Casey, Shirley, Farah, Bustos, Stefano, Becky, and everybody that's here for Mustafa, Missy, and Dre, and everybody that's here, according to the prosecutor, according that's public on the record, in her motion against me, that Mustafa have 500,000 people that are watching and supporting his story. That's according to Prosecutor Sarah Sammy. You can take that to the bank. It's in the public motion. Mustafa, everybody saying goodbye to you. And this is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cams. Judge Weimer under the microscope. I love you guys. I will talk to you tomorrow. And we have a lot to talk about.
We love you guys.
Love you guys.
All right, love you too.